Trapped in the abyss of level 0 for years, Itsuki's fate was forged by one tragic day, the Day of Awakening. While others claimed godlike powers, Itsuki became a laughingstock. The crystal flickered, but yielded absolutely nothing. But looks are deceiving. Hidden beneath that zero-tier status lay a monstrous game-breaking ability. He could dissect enemy techniques, siphoning their power to infinitely boost his own stats. Bit by bit, he evolved into the Academy's ultimate prodigy, destined to bring every arrogant noble to their knees. Then, the world fractured. Abyssal rifts tore through the sky like jagged glass. An energy barrier soon caged the city, like a literal prison. Portals vomited out demons led by Ringa, and the merciless slaughter began. A father sacrifices himself screaming for his son to run as hellfire consumes the streets. Chaos reigns. People flee while predators hunt amidst the inferno. Suddenly, a demon wreathed in eerie blue flames appears. It roars, gathering lethal energy to obliterate a helpless child. But in the final heartbeat, a savior pulls young Itsuki back, begging him to survive. His mother, her final scream echoes through his soul, leaving a permanent scar. Flash forward to today. A friend nudges him, breaking his trance with a playful jab. She's suspicious, searching his eyes for the truth, until she spots a single tear trailing down his face. Before she can pry, two bullies crash the moment, mocking his drip with typical toxic energy. Post-invasion superpowered humans, known as Awakened, emerged. His friend gestures toward a legendary figure in the crowd, the man of the hour. Bruziel, or as we call him Apple Bruziel, our MVP commenter. A continental general and the rumored first awakened in history. A titan among men. Humanity's beacon of hope, the peak of power. But a groundbreaking new study just dropped. It claims anyone can transcend by touching a special monolith. The legend on stage makes the announcement. Everyone gets a shot at greatness. Suddenly, a massive monolith erupts from the earth, radiating suffocating power. The crowd goes wild. Hyped up Itsuki's friend bolts for the line, telling him to stay put. Deep inside Itsuki, something cold awakens. A terrifying sense of resolve washes over his features. With a ghost of a smirk, he knows. Judgment Day is finally here. Let the ceremony begin. The first candidate flops. Even the star athlete strikes out. Tension in the air is thick enough to cut. Next, the guard barks. Oishi Hikaru, aka Jazz, the king of our comment section, likes. The school's resident menace. Nobody wants this guy powered up, but the monolith flares. Blue lightning engulfs him. Boom, he's an elite lightning elemental. Watching from above, a high-ranking officer in armor narrows her eyes. Finally, a real prospect, she notes. Jazz flexes his new ego, but the vibe suddenly shifts. Itsuki brushes past him, cold as ice. Jazz explodes, screaming for his head while the crowd starts panicking. He's dead meat, they whisper. But the pro observers, they feel a crushing weight radiating from this zero. Itsuki grips the stone, his soul fueled by pure, unadulterated hatred for the beasts. Then the world trembles. A masked man's eyes widen in disbelief. This isn't normal. A colossal divine phantom manifests behind Itsuki. Itsuki's aura explodes. The monolith screams, launching a pillar of pure energy straight into the atmosphere. A massive lotus blooms across the sky, dwarfing Jazz's display. The stunned silence breaks into absolute madness. He's ascended. The pro scouts recognize that omen immediately. That's the mark of a destroyer. Jazz is seething. Inside the light, Itsuki checks his window. Class Destroyer. Gift Nirvana. Stats, still 0. He doesn't sweat it. His unique skill kicks in, pumping every single attribute up by 200 points. A grin spreads. Finally, he has the juice to wipe every monster off the map. The blinding radiance fades, and his silhouette steps through the mist. No way, Jazz shrieks. The commander calls him a monster rookie. With 200 in every stat, he's the undisputed king of the campus. A legendary hero is born. Totally tilted, Jazz charges his mana, unleashing his signature move to reclaim his spotlight. Silver Serpent, he roars. But Itsuki's system is already dissecting the move. He just stares completely unfazed. The lightning whip cracks the pavement, but Itsuki is gone. One blink later, he's whispering in Jazz's ear. If I were a monster, you'd be a corpse. Jazz freezes, trembling as the crowd jeers. Analysis, 100%. A fresh aura surges around Itsuki. Skill acquired Thunder Wave. Now he can literally eat his enemy's attacks. Agility peaking as he snaps back to reality. Blue lightning crackles across his frame. His stats surge once more under their stunned gazes. No one can believe their eyes. The sky turns pitch black as a sudden downpour erupts. Then, without warning, a massive dark monolith screams down from the clouds, aiming straight for the school. The woman orders an evacuation. They're the targets. She admits her squad isn't ready for this level of smoke. Meanwhile, the masked man points a finger directly at Itsuki. He claims the kid is worth more than the entire team. As everyone flees, Itsuki stands frozen. His friend begs him to run. The impact rattles the earth, unleashing a sinister, suffocating energy. Itsuki senses it, a high-level monster is about to spawn right now. He declares he'll handle this solo. They plead with him to flee since he just awakened. He turns eyes dead serious and tells them to trust. She relents but warns him not to blame her if he ends up dead. Itsuki flashes a dark smirk. His first prey as an awakened has arrived, and fate has a sick sense of humor. It's the same beast that slaughtered his parents. A skeleton soldier crawls from the portal. The system reveals the monster's lethal combat stats. With a steady gaze, he decides to test his newly mastered ability. Zero hesitation, he lunges at the beast with everything he's got, unleashing every single spark of raw power. Thunder booms as he roars that he won't let another person die today. The blow hits the skeleton soldier dead center, a devastating force that rips the creature right off the ground and slams it into the school building. The beast shatters against the wall while the crowd watches in absolute shock. Everyone is stunned. This power is insane for a mere rookie, but the masked man steps in, calmly explaining that this kid is built different. Suddenly, the skeleton manages to drag itself back onto its feet. It instantly triggers a blue flame skill called Bonfire. The threat level just spiked through the roof. His friends scream his name in terror. Elsewhere, the bully smirks with pure malice, praying for a total fail. Meanwhile, Itsuki's system begins parsing the enemy's new skill. The analysis accelerates just as the flames engulf him completely. The armored woman scowls. Not even a level 10 awakened could tank that hit. The boy's body starts burning, and he finally understands the agony his mother felt. A brutal memory flashes through his mind. Those same blue flames consumed her. From afar, the general watches in silence, questioning if this is the kid's limit. Even wrapped in fire, Itsuki roars that once the analysis is complete, that monster is history. His friends panic until the blue lotus suddenly manifests again. The system analysis finally hits 100% and announces he's acquired the Black Ice Shield. This new skill massively buffs all his stats and fully heals his wounds. He realizes it instantly with his boosted attack power. He can finally pierce the monster's defense. Back on the battlefield, the blue lotus blooms illuminating the entire area. From within, Itsuki emerges without a single scratch, perfectly fine. His friends explode with relief. The observer is floored. He possesses both healing and lightning attributes simultaneously. He stares at his healed hand, wondering about his regeneration's limit. Right then, the skeleton soldier lets out a furious roar and unleashes another wave of blue fire, but Itsuki triggers his new skill. A black ice shield forms on his arm. He doesn't back down, standing firm as the hellish flames approach. The wall of ice nullifies the attack completely. The collision of powers rattles the ground, and the resulting blast sends the monster flying backward. Seizing the opening, he strikes with a lightning whip, slamming it down. Yet the beast staggers back to its feet again. It now wields a massive sword of ice and thunder. In a flash, Itsuki vanishes and reappears behind the monster. A single slash splits its body in two. The students are speechless. He moved so fast it looked like teleportation. Even the observer is hyped, questioning if he's actually a rookie. Itsuki can shape weapons into any form imaginable, making him the ultimate fighter for offense and defense. The battle ends and his friends rush toward him, shouting his name. One grabs him, crying with relief, but Itsuki only— "Where is Alexa?" His buddy explains she was there a second ago, looking like she was about to burst into tears. He scans the crowd, but she's gone. Maybe she's mad, or maybe she's just in total shock. The woman notes he soloed a beast that would challenge even a level 10. Awakened, his friend tries to chill him out, suggesting she probably hit the infirmary out of worry. Suddenly, a voice booms his full name, Itsuki Martinez. His friend jumps. The masked man approaches with a crushing legendary aura. Students whisper, wondering if this Batman-looking guy is making him his disciple. His friend heads off to find Alexa. Locked in a tense standoff, the masked enigma drops a bombshell. "You're built different, Itsuki." Itsuki's head spins. Brujual smirks, revealing he can see the pure, unadulterated rage boiling in the boy's soul. He demands the truth behind that darkness. Itsuki's mind flashes back 10 years to the day his world shattered. His parents died as human shields for him. A haunting memory triggers a young Itsuki, watching a literal nightmare pounce. He was a heartbeat away from death when an awakener intervened right before his mother's traumatized eyes. But he was forced to watch the unthinkable, his mother being incinerated alive, her final goodbye lost in flames. The boy's screams echoed in a void of horror. Guilt nearly broke him, but a spark of rebellion screamed injustice. The culprit was the demon general leading the slaughter. Fueling his inner fire, fury took total control of Itsuki. With a single tear tracing his cheek, he made a blood oath: every last monster of that species must perish. Brujual scoffs, "How can you still shed tears when your heart is a furnace of pure hate?" "My right eye acts on its own," Itsuki mutters, "it refuses to let me forget." Brujual finally makes his move. He offers an apprenticeship within the Alliance of Saviors, an elite tactical unit forged to hunt down these monsters. They provide lethal training and legendary gear, but the catch is simple: you bet your life for that paycheck. Money Itsuki couldn't care less. His eyes are fixed on a much bigger, much bloodier prize. He wants the front lines. He wants to be a savior. That's when Brujual mentions the ultimate annual showdown. Only the top 100 survivors make the cut. While scores aren't everything, the current record is absolutely insane. 115,000 points. A legendary mark set 1 year ago by the GOAT Kazunari Tsutsumi. Itsuki recognizes the name instantly, the strongest awakener, his friends always hyped up. Brujual warns him not to get cocky. Yet he admits Itsuki's raw talent might actually rival Kazunari's. Itsuki's resolve hardens into cold-tempered steel. "I'll crush Kazunari's record," Itsuki declares. The general is stunned by the audacity, yet he senses the hidden potential. He might just be the new rising sun humanity desperately needs. A shadow of a smirk plays on Brujual's lips. "The sun I've been waiting for is finally here," he whispers as they reach a massive futuristic fortress. Itsuki stares in awe. Brujual explains these monuments are portals. Leave them open and the world ends in blood. This facility traps the indestructible ones, transforming a literal apocalypse into a high-stakes training ground for the elite. Itsuki gets it instantly, but Brujual drops a warning. This specific zone is the most lethal hellhole on the map. They call it the Novice Graveyard. Even Kazunari took 3 minutes and 14 seconds to clear this nightmare. The general lays down the gauntlet. If you want that crown, you have exactly 3 minutes flat. Succeed, and the apprenticeship is his. As they cross the threshold, the entire lobby goes stone-cold silent. Every eye is on the general and the rookie. Itsuki realizes his new mentor is a total celebrity hero. One look at the status board confirms the worst. Level 10 monsters way deadlier than any skeleton he's faced. The awakened veterans start whispering. They're convinced this kid is just a clout chaser way out of his league. Ignoring the haters, he marches straight to the registration desk, with ice flowing through his veins. "Sign me up for the scenario," he tells the clerk. She looks up bored and asks for his party. "Just me," he replies. The silence that follows hits like a sledgehammer. The kid's confidence sounds like a death wish. "Stop playing around," the clerk snaps. "This isn't a playground." Laughter erupts from the crowd of veterans. There's always one delusional rookie who gets chewed up. But Itsuki isn't budging. He's here to conquer, not play. Exasperated, she tries to brush him off by offering her number just to make him leave. He isn't biting. "I don't want your number. I want in," he repeats. His cold intensity finally starts to rattle her composure. She hands over the device with a grim warning, "Your funeral." The crowd's mocking reaches a fever pitch now. A level 0 newbie against a level 10 death trap. That's not a challenge. It's a public suicide mission. Even with a special gift, his level is a joke for this tier. He scans his bracelet, access granted. The massive iron gates groan open. Inside, he takes a deep breath and locks in. 3 minutes, no more. "I'm taking him down. I'll finish faster." Your narrator is locked in too. The clock starts ticking now. Exploding with a fierce aura, he blurs into motion. The monument looms ahead like a monolith of destiny. In this graveyard of legends, Itsuki's future will be forged in the flames of his past hatred. The artificial void feels endless, suffocating. Then a chill runs down his spine. The enemy is finally here. They're coming, a woodland wraith hisses, lunging forward. Itsuki greets the beast with a bone-shattering frost punch. In one fluid motion, he summons a spectral axe, cleaving the creature in two. He flashes a wicked, mocking smirk. "How's it feel to watch your buddy get split?" More monsters roar, emerging from the shadows to encircle him. Cut to the exterior. The receptionist panics, questioning why they'd toss a rookie into such a literal death trap. Brujual stays calm. To surpass a legend like Tsutsumi, he must shatter every known human limit. She recalls Tsutsumi's terrifying power, erasing a level 97 disaster without even breaking a single sweat. His gaze was icy, distant, like a god's. Brujual nods. The boy's potential is absolutely undeniable. But he's still unpolished. If Tsutsumi is a god, he adds, then Itsuki is a true demon. Back in the fray, our hero is a whirlwind of destruction. His main skill hasn't even triggered yet. Pathetically easy. But then a massive shadow looms over him. The floor boss has finally entered the chat. Without flinching, he slams it with a glacier-sized strike. The beast hits the dirt. Is that really all? Something's off. His system pings a regeneration alert, and a gut-wrenching screech suddenly tears through the air. The nightmare isn't over. The monster fully reforms, bigger, nastier, and deadlier. Itsuki actually looks stunned for once. It healed despite losing half its skull. Enemy stats are skyrocketing. He instantly deploys a black ice wall. He tanks the hit. To kill its regen, he needs overwhelming firepower. It's time for the grand finale. Dual-wielding blades, he unleashes a tempest of slashes, shredding the creature into dozens of tiny, bloody pieces. A surgical final strike cleaves it down the middle. The monster's eyes widen in fury as it crumbles. Our MC smirks. He sliced it so thin, regeneration is impossible, but he still delivers one last vertical skewering. The beast detonates into nothingness. Victory. Or so he thinks. His mana is drained from maintaining that wall. In total disbelief, the monster mutates into a writhing mass of tentacles. Itsuki barely dodges the incoming lashings. Still standing. Incredible. But he notices something key: each regeneration is actually accelerating his skill's analysis. He drops the wall to conserve energy, playing the long game, while the system finishes its complex scan. He needs more speed. He combines lightning and frost, attacking and defending in one seamless high-voltage flow. If he misses, he's dead. No mana left. But he takes the gamble. This is his true limit. His eyes burn crimson. He pours his remaining soul into one final, desperate strike. Direct hit, but it resists. He can't pierce its hide. Failure. Tentacles impale his body as his mana hits 0. Then at the buzzer, analysis complete. The skill doesn't even cost mana. Suddenly, a glowing blue lotus blooms from his body. He's unlocked Lotus Explosion. This technique deals massive AoE damage proportional to every drop of mana he's burned. His stats surge by 20 points as his wounds vanish. The beast charges, but he just snaps his fingers. Pure energy detonates. A colossal pillar of fire and power consumes the arena, reducing the boss to ash. Regeneration is now impossible. Itsuki breathes again, realizing the insane power he's gained. Even his mana is restored. Among the embers, a glowing green gem appears. He eyes it curiously. Outside, the receptionist is losing her mind. Clock's ticking, and he's still not out. The general's assistant calls it, clearing this in 3 minutes is impossible. Suddenly the screen flashes neon green. A new record. The woman's jaw drops as the timer confirms the feat. 2 minutes and 56 seconds. The vault hiss opens, revealing our hero collapsed on the floor, completely spent. The lobby erupts into cheers. He survived. He actually shattered the legendary Tsutsumi's record. Itsuki slowly stands up. He looks at Brujual. Will you keep your promise now? Despite the bruises, he flashes a victor's grin. Sensei. Brujual offers his congratulations. His assistant watches in awe. She hasn't seen her father this happy in years. The crowd whispers, claiming he only won because of Bruce Wayne's coaching. They doubt him, but the receptionist approaches. She apologizes and hands him a gift. He accepts it warmly, noting that her concern proves she's kind-hearted. A simple thank you turns her bright red with embarrassment. The assistant yells they're leaving with or without him. She scolds him later. Don't let being Brujual's student go to your head. Brujual mentions it's time for advanced levels. Level isn't everything. The species dictates the threat. There are high-intelligence monsters out there far more dangerous. That's his next destination. He smirks with a sadistic glint, wondering if those monsters feel agony when slaughtered. The woman shudders before his dark aura, unable to fathom the twisted thoughts racing through his mind. Whispers fill the air about a tyrant who dominates the zone, erasing anyone who dares trespass. Zip it, one warns, or he'll erase us too. Right then, Reiji Kinoshita makes his entrance. He's the heir to the North District's throne. When asked about leaving, he scoffs that he decides. Smirking, he claims that waiting in queues is for peasants. Suddenly, Itsuki reveals a mysterious box. Inside, a tiny, intricately carved stone glows with a hypnotic light. Cut to a peaceful garden. Itsuki reminisces vividly. Brujual asks if he's ever laid eyes on a karma stone like this. Itsuki nods. He found one after slaying a beast. His memory flashes back to that moment. A massive emerald crystal shimmered between his palms, radiating an intense deep green power. The blue-haired woman freezes. Such a relic shouldn't exist here. She begins to explain the truth. Think of it as an experience stone. Slashing monsters releases karma, which boosts your level. These stones bottle that essence. Still, the girl can't figure out how it's even possible. Natural stones like this are myths. Brujual suggests Itsuki's unique gift caused this miracle. Both are clueless about his ability's role. The helmeted warrior steps in to clear the air. Itsuki didn't soak up the karma, but that energy didn't just vanish into thin air. The beast's power was split among the awakened, but Itsuki was trapped in a seal. That raw energy compressed into a solid stone. The girl wonders how his stats increased. Itsuki goes quiet. Brujual immediately shuts her down. Some secrets are meant to be guarded. Itsuki can sell or hoard it. Before leaving, Brujual drops 4 non-negotiable rules for him. Rule 1, keep your gift secret. With a sharp grin, Itsuki accepts, calling him Master. The pact is sealed. Cut to the training grounds where things are getting heated. Thugs block the entrance, claiming the Kinoshitas booked the place. They threaten to call the guild. Suddenly, a massive shadow with glowing red eyes looms over them from behind. A blonde student lunges forward, activating a skill to blitz the mysterious newcomer. Masked Kazunari blocks the strike effortlessly with one hand. In a flash, he counters brutally. A heavy blow sends the blonde flying. He screams, shocked. His B-rank skill was useless. I didn't feel a thing, Kazunari growls, his eyes burning with a terrifying rage. Terrified, the student realizes he's facing a monster. Kazunari grabs him and delivers a knockout blow. The crowd shudders. It's Gael. Take one of Reiji Kinoshita's most feared enforcers. Hoisting the victim, Gale warns that anyone who resists will face the exact same fate. Two students lie broken. He forbids anyone from helping. His lackeys just laugh. Gael slams the body down, snarling that he isn't in the mood for jokes. Itsuki and his partner arrive to help. The onlookers are absolutely floored by their arrival. Why would a level 0 interfere? Gale sneers, telling them to scram before they die. Itsuki knows he must drop this brute to get inside. Pride isn't driving him, though. His master taught him to fight for justice. Calmly, he hands the injured boy to safety. A sinister aura explodes from Itsuki. His true status reveals a legendary special class. Gael feels the crushing weight. He can't fathom how a level 0 exerts such pressure. Furious, he refuses to be intimidated. Itsuki lunges his movement, reflecting in Gale's shocked eyes. A direct hit cracks across the brute's face. The crowd gasps at his insane speed. Is he really a level 0? Suddenly, the fist hits cold steel. Gale's defense is up. Itsuki jumps back. The enemy used metal eyes. Gael grabs his fist with hands of iron. He mocks Itsuki's lack of power, tossing him away with a ground-shattering impact. Itsuki stands up, realizing his lightning skill is the only way to break this monster. His copy skill sparks to life, instantly dissecting the enemy's metallic technique. It's time to go all out. He must target the gaps in that iron defense. Digging his heels in, he lunges forward with newfound speed. Gale just sneers, labeling him pathetic, mocking his lack of raw power and haste. But Itsuki grins. The villain just left an opening. He triggers. His overdrive, cloaked in jagged lightning, he blitzes Gael, unleashing a relentless storm of strikes. As the analysis bar climbs, the crowd starts vibing with the underdog. Panic finally washes over Gael. He's suffocating under the speed. Desperate, he barks orders at his goons before playing his final trump card. With a primal roar, he shreds his shirt, unleashing his full aura as his skin turns to solid steel. He mocks Itsuki for forcing this evolution, flexing a defense stat that surged past 500. A literal human fortress. With a sadistic smirk, he promises the boy a swift, merciful end. The arena trembles. No rookie should crack that armor. But Itsuki is already calculating the winning play, realizing this heavy-duty form is devouring Gael's mana reserves. The brute tries to deny it, but the kid's sharp intuition is rattling him. Once the analysis hits 100%, Itsuki calls game. His ally senses it. The blue lotus is awakening. A massive spectral flower blooms, leaving the crowd stunned. The system pings analysis complete. He's unlocked a new tier skill, the piercing sphere. Itsuki knows this, ignores all defense. With Gael frozen, his eyes glow as he vows to shatter that absolute armor. His stats jump by 10 points as a fierce blue aura wraps around him. Dark energy swirls in his palm, forming a void orb. He aims it at Gael, daring him to move. The crowd goes silent. Can a level 0 really pierce that monster defense? They're betting everything on him. The tiny dark orb starts pulsing with terrifying intensity, compressing an immeasurable amount of raw power inside. It drifts slowly toward Gael, who stands his ground waiting for the impact like he's untouchable. A few fans in the stands look disappointed, thinking the attack looks totally underwhelming. It looks like a tiny marble. Gael laughs, convinced that trying to beat him with this is a joke. He stays still, overflowing with ego as the projectile closes in. The absolute tank warns him that a pathetic death awaits. But the second the orb touches his skin, it zips through his metal hide like wet paper. Blood sprays, and a gut-wrenching scream echoes as he collapses. Itsuki calmly notes he only aimed for the arm since Gael didn't dodge. He turns to the lackeys, ordering them to get their boss to a hospital immediately. His cold stare makes the others vanish in terror. They scramble away, not looking back. The arena erupts into wild cheers for the rookie's crushing victory. Seeing his insane potential, two guys approach, trying to recruit him for their party with big promises. They warn him the next floor is no joke. But for Itsuki, the tougher the enemies, the better. It's just fuel to speed up his new orb. As they press for an answer, he chooses solo leveling. Everyone is shook, convinced the win went to his head. Who enters a dungeon like that alone? They give up to find a new squad. His partner asks about the mana cost. He plays it cool. She claims she's not worried, she just doesn't want the guilt if he ends up as monster bait. She warns him about the pack mentality inside. Itsuki taps the panel, his entry cleared. He steps in, and instantly realizes he's outnumbered. These stone beasts look way more jacked than the usual mobs, boasting high-tier stats. One quick scan confirms their defense is cracked. Honestly, this is perfect. Time to test the passive buff of his piercing sphere. It's meant to slip through anything like butter. The orb wakes up, pulsing with a lethal purple energy. He fires the shot, punching through the stone golem with zero resistance. A clean one shot, exactly as planned. The sphere's velocity doubles instantly. Suddenly, a whole pack of monsters emerges, completely surrounding him. To him, they're just target practice, slow, predictable, and perfect for farming his speed stacks. He drops two more, feeling the power surge. But atop the rubble, he notices his mana is tanking. More mobs close in, yet the boss is MIA. No room for mistakes. He needs a double kill. He slams the orb into the ground, using it as bait to lure them in. Right on cue, he leaps back, shouting for them to fall into his trap. With a lethal gaze, he readies the finisher. His orb rockets skyward, piercing through both beasts as its velocity hits a whole new level. Exhausted, he drops to his knees, desperately wishing for a recovery skill, while checking his system interface. The orb is now fast enough to snipe any target. The system confirms it has reached max level. Its flight speed is insane. Then, without warning, a massive stone fist rains down from the heavens. The impact shatters the earth with overwhelming force, triggering a rocky explosion. From the dust emerges the boss. Level 15. He's a total unit. Itsuki triggers his Thunder Wave to boost his agility instantly. He scales the monster's massive body, doubting his orb can drop this titan. He aims for the head. It might be the only weak spot. Finding an opening, he fires everything, but the projectile is tiny. No damage. While he's airborne, the golem retaliates with a brutal swipe to crush him. Panic sets in. Trapped midair, he has no choice. He summons his black ice wall to block the blow. It shatters. His shield vaporizes, sending him crashing into the rocks. This brute is way tougher than he looks. But wait, his mimicry skill locks onto the monster's technique, and the analysis begins immediately. Battered but grinning, he figures it out. The golem used a specific skill to achieve its massive size. Cut to a mansion. A servant takes a call and turns ghost white upon hearing the shocking news. Coldly, Reggie Kinoshita demands silence. The servant apologizes as his boss barks to know exactly what happened. Someone took out the royal fans and breached the training zone. Enraged, Reggie slams the table in fury. Was it a level 30? Awakened. The servant explains the elites are busy. Only rookies were there. A level 10 victory seems impossible. Reggie orders a deep dive, then decides waiting isn't an option. Dungeons take time so they can intercept them. With killer eyes, he yells that they're leaving right now. The servant trembles in a cold sweat. Standing tall, Reggie vows they will regret crossing his path. They messed with the Kinoshita family. Back at the fight, analysis ends. Itsuki celebrates no more running away. A glowing blue lotus marks the golem's forehead. The system confirms the gigantification skill analysis is complete. Even better, his piercing orb hits level 2, unlocking a brand new devastating secondary effect. His passive speed doubles again, and now he can manipulate its size. A wild grin spreads. He tests it immediately. The system grants a full heal and buffs his stats by 20 points. Power surging, he gathers his remaining mana to manifest his ultimate weapon, the colossal piercing orb. He unleashes a massive energy beam packed with insane power. The blast drills right through the golem. It disintegrates instantly. Mana, tanked Itsuki, lets out a faint, satisfied smirk. Victory is his. Maybe he overdid it, Victory confirmed. As a bonus, his orb's speed skyrockets by another 200%. He crunches the numbers. In 2 more rounds, his attack will outrun a supercar on a straightaway. Holding the Karma Stone, he realizes passive effects are way more cracked than they initially looked. Then it hits him. The Lotus Burst also massively expands the range of his entire skill set. The logic is simple, every kill boosts his range. With that game-changing realization in mind, he imagines sniping targets from miles away. Suddenly, the scene shifts to the outside world. A massive screen broadcasts his feat. He crushed the record by 3 minutes. The crowd is stunned. He even beat the legendary Kazunari's time. As he emerges, everyone is baffled. He's still level 0. His partner flashes a genuine smile. Impressed, he shattered the record and walked out without a scratch. She mentions his insane speed again. Itsuki just shrugs it off, claiming the monster was total fodder. Suddenly, he spots a glowing butterfly resting on her hand. What's that? He asks, intrigued. She's a Shikigami user, and that butterfly is her summon. Itsuki stares at it, completely mesmerized. It's his first time seeing one, and he calls it beautiful without hesitation. Seizing the moment, he asks about character classes, catching her off guard. She explains there are 4 main types. He's already encountered 3. First, elementalists, the most common class with the highest base combat power. She reminds him of the lightning user and that aggressive meathead from before Gale. He was an elementalist, too, controlling metal. Then you have the specialized Shikigami users. The beast summoner introduces herself as Brandolin Brujual, a Shikigami master accompanied by her shimmering jade butterfly. Right, the daughter of the infamous Diabol Brujual. She offers a polite smile, but Itsuki immediately fires off another blunt question. Why is her level lower than her summons? The girl freezes in total disbelief. How can he be this clueless? Recovering her composure, she explains that Shikigamis grind, experience, and level up too. A dark shadow crosses Itsuki's face. He only needs to crush the sensei. Brandolin shudders as that sinister aura flares up again. Desperate to kill the tension, he asks about the other classes. Her tone shifts to dead serious as she mentions the 3rd type, the Order Breakers. That's exactly our protagonist's class. She reveals they are the world's greatest mystery. Because of unique abilities like the lotus flower, Some can warp their size, while others summon infinite clones. While normal skills cap at S-rank order breakers, wield terrifying Z-rank powers. That's why her father lost his cool. These secret abilities are a user's ultimate trump card. Yet she sees Itsuki as a total anomaly since he's already flexing 3 elementalist skills. Panic starts to set in. If his master catches wind of this chat, he's absolutely cooked. He presses about the final class, but she remains tight-lipped with a cryptic smirk. She'll only spill when he meets one in the flesh. Itsuki drops it, then she reveals the student he rescued is finally stable. When asked about his next move, he plans to hit the same scenario, for some serious farming. However, she breaks the news the zone has a massive cooldown and won't reset for 2 whole days. Visibly frustrated, he asks for a spot, crawling with massive mob spawns. With a mischievous glint, Brandolin suggests the Locust Desert, a hellscape packed with an absurd number of enemies. She doubts him though, since he lacks AoE skills, but our main man accepts the challenge without a second thought. The crew gets nervous, but he's chilling, stunned. By his sheer grit, they decide to dip before things get messy. Meanwhile, Reggie storms onto the scene, but there's no one left to grill. His subordinate reports the target has vanished. The speed leaves him speechless and seething. His plan is trashed and he looks like a joke. Instantly, he summons a tracker to hunt the boy down, swearing to take him alive and make him pray for death. Elsewhere, a bloodied man hides in an alley, cursing the day he took this job. He celebrates his narrow escape, but a low growl in the dark stops his heart. A massive red-eyed wolf lunges tearing into him. Then a mysterious figure steps out of the shadows, commanding the beast to heal. He wants answers. The victim shaking gasps out how they tracked him. The man in the hat scoffs. His wolf's nose is elite. He introduces himself as Charles the Wolf Dog, claiming he can sniff out the very scent of death. Pleas for mercy fall on deaf ears. Charles isn't in a forgiving mood. Kinoshita would be pissed and his wolf is starving for a fresh kill. With a wicked grin, he gives the order. It's dinner time. After the feast, a status window pops up, confirming he's finally leveled up. Charles pulls his phone and reports the hit is complete. Hearing Gael is hurt, he's on the move. With a jagged smile, he tells his wolf that a new prey has entered the chat. Itsuki reaches the wasteland, known as the Locust Desert. He looks around skeptical, wondering if he's even at the right coordinates. He stares at endless wheat fields stretching to the horizon and can't help but wonder if there are actually any bugs out here. His companion calmly explains that disaster beasts always handpick the environments they plan to invade. She adds that there's zero signal here because the danger level is off the charts. Itsuki knits his brows in confusion, since the displayed level seems pretty low. She quickly corrects him that's not the real threat. The issue is that these beasts are hyper-aggressive, and their numbers are just insane. She issues a stern warning, drop your guard for 1 second, and you'll be swarmed and devoured, until nothing but a pile of bones remains. Itsuki just lets out a smirk. In his head, fighting a mountain of beasts sounds like a blast. With pure confidence, he declares he won't die, being eaten by some insects. Seeing his swagger, she watches him enter the portal, knowing he'll be fine. She thinks to herself that he chose this path so the consequences are all on him. Suddenly, panic strikes her as a chilling realization hits. She forgot the most important warning. Those monsters never stop coming. Terrified, she rushes back to intercept our hero before it's too late. But just as she moves, 2 shadowy figures materialize, deadlocking her path forward. One man with a sinister glint in his eyes demands to know who's hiding there. Scene shift. We find our protagonist deep in the wasteland, scanning the desolate bone-dry ruins. With a cocky smirk, he claps his hands. Hey pests, wake up, it's time for your extermination. He analyzes the threats, their weak total fodder. In other words, the perfect test subjects for times that time skill. It's time for the Lotus Burst. His system confirms these targets are just low-tier evil locusts. Level 1 and 2. Pathetic. But then the sky turns pitch black as a massive swarm descends. They dive-bomb him like a living nightmare, but Itsuki just grins, forming a glowing flower in his palms. Pure energy pulses as the lotus blooms. His plan: let them swarm, then crush them all at once. The moment the insects swallow him whole, he lets out a feral roar. Now, he detonates his stored power. The Lotus Burst ignites, and a blinding light shatters the desert silence. Total Annihilation System notifications flood his vision, confirming every locust has been turned to ash. Each kill fuels the fire. Itsuki stands amidst the carnage, watching his skill range skyrocket. The system explains the passive every soul claimed expands the reach of his next explosion. A 110% bonus. That means over 100 bugs just got deleted in a blink. 110 monsters down. He smirks, calculating he has enough gas for 10 more rounds. That would push his range to a massive 1000%. If only there was no cooldown. But wait, something's wrong. The clear message hasn't popped up. That's silence. It's a huge red flag. Suddenly, a new alert flares. C-rank skill Mother's Will has been forcefully activated. Itsuki spins around, stunned. Survivors. After a blast like that, it's impossible. The ground ruptures as giant locusts erupt from the sand surrounding him in a circle of death. One lunges for the kill. He realized his fatal mistake. He assumed there wasn't a boss. But where is it hiding? Without knowing the boss's location, this fight just got a lot deadlier. New strategy: slaughter the small fries until the queen is forced to show her face. He triggers another explosion. The system screams as his skill range continues to balloon. 220% bonus. The blast radius is becoming a literal force of nature, a 16-meter zone of pure destruction. Yet even after another 100 kills, the boss stays hidden. No sign of the leader. Meanwhile, the perspective shifts deep into the dark subsuelo. Beneath the dunes lies a massive nest pulsing with eggs that spawn monsters every second. Back on the surface, Itsuki watches in disbelief as locusts continue to vomit from the earth. His mana is tanking. Only 9 shots left. He needs to find that boss, and he needs to do it fast. But Itsuki doesn't flinch. He gathers his blazing energy, vowing to burn every last one of them. He grits his teeth, his voice echoing across the dunes. I'm erasing you all from the map. Boom! Another massive detonation ripples outward, turning the swarm into glowing dust. The range bonus keeps climbing. He's chaining his attacks now, one after the other in a frenzy. Multiple explosions rock the wasteland as he tries to clear the board at high speed. 990%. He's at the limit, but the mental strain is starting to take its toll. 1 shot left. Just one. Itsuki stares at his mana bar in pure, unfiltered desperation. Then the horizon turns black again. Another endless swarm appears, leaving him completely frustrated. The boss is a ghost and his mana is gone. For a split second, he considers retreating. But running is for losers. With eyes burning with resolve, he prepares for one final stand. I'm ending this right now, he roars, unleashing his ultimate, most powerful Lotus Burst. He pours in every last drop of energy. Exhausted, he falls to his knees, praying the nightmare is over. Total shock paralyzes him. The locust swarm hasn't thinned out at all. The nightmare is just beginning. Then a sudden realization strikes like lightning. Every single one of these pests is only level 1. The scan finally completes, exposing the ugly truth. The Locust Queen is behind this, spawning infinite minions. Itsuki clocks it instantly. Slaughtering the grunts is useless unless he takes down the boss first. They'll just keep multiplying forever. Right then, the system analysis reaches its final peak. An energy sphere shatters before him, unlocking a god-tier skill, mana detection. This broken ability tracks enemies and refills his energy. Itsuki smirks. This is exactly what he needs. Brandolin Brujual is still waiting outside, so he's got to wrap this up as fast as possible. The skill surge completely reboots his body, mending every wound and overcharging his core stats. Fully restored, he pings the map to hunt down the area's true master. Blue mana waves ripple across the field. The pulse travels miles, searching for that one hidden signature. Found you. The queen is burrowed deep underground. Itsuki's eyes glow with lethal focus. Found ya, he grins. He conjures a dark energy orb, locking his sights right on the boss. The monster tries using its own babies as a meat shield, but Itsuki sees right through it. Nice try, but no, he roars, launching an explosive energy lotus straight into the dirt. System confirm attack range, hit 120 meters. That's more than enough for a direct hit. Boom, the blast tears through the queen, ending the threat in one devastating shot. Cloaked in lightning with his armor active, Itsuki blurs forward to finish the job. Standing over his prey, he drops the coldest line. It's over. Checkmate. With one brutal thrust, he pierces the queen's shell. Game over. Now the swarm is in total chaos. Itsuki raises a flaming hand, telling the survivors they'll be joining their mother very soon. The system screen pops up. His range skill has skyrocketed to over 1,200%. Totally cracked. He's already planning to come back later to farm this buff even more. Stepping out of the portal, he checks the clock. The whole massacre only took 17 minutes. Then he remembers Brandolin is still waiting. Better hurry before she gets annoyed. She'll probably act all cold, but deep down, she's relieved. Honestly, her tsundere vibes are kinda cute. With a smirk, he gets ready to tell her he's back, and everything's fine. But then pure rage. His eyes burn with a new fury as he sees Brandolin bleeding. A mysterious man looms over her, asking calmly if Itsuki is the target he's been hunting. The villain gloats about interrogating her. Even battered and bruised, she didn't spill a single secret. Seeing red, Itsuki barks an order. Let her go, right now or I'll end you. The creep just laughs, mocking the level 0 rookie for acting so tough. Don't get cocky, kid. In that split second, the atmosphere completely shifts. Coated in lightning, Itsuki zips forward with insane speed. The villain can barely blink. His mind goes blank. Death is literally inches from his throat. But then, a wild twist. A massive wolf spawns out of thin air, tanking the hit with its own skull. Itsuki freezes. That wolf. It's a Shinigami. This guy is a summoner of death. The villain analyzes Itsuki's speed. Now he finally gets why Gael lost that fight. With a nasty smirk, he flexes his advantage. He's got the wolf and the hostage. He squeezes Brandolin's neck tighter. Itsuki loses focus for a second, screaming her name. That tiny opening is all the monster needs. The wolf beast unhinges its jaw, ready to strike. It's aiming to rip Itsuki's arm off in one bite. The villain just sneers. Time slows down as death closes in. The villain's eyes reflect nothing but pure sadistic cruelty. Itsuki has to save his friend without falling into this Shinigami user's deadly trap. Everything looks hopeless as the Shinigami's dark power starts to suffocate the entire battlefield. Claiming the best outcome is Itsuki losing an arm. But in a flash, the man's face twists in horror. He is frozen, unable to process the scene. Using his free hand, Itsuki shoves a glowing orb of raw energy down the demon beast's throat. It detonates from within, vaporizing the hound's skull instantly. Remaining dead, calm Itsuki begins analyzing his opponent. Without a Shinigami, a user is total fodder. Yet the villain just laughs. He asks if the rookie truly thinks that's game over. He flexes that the creature has a rebirth skill that slashes its revival cooldown. Right on cue, the mangled beast starts twitching back to life. The man screams in a rage, demanding the Shinigami hunt Itsuki down. But then the vibe shifts. Itsuki triggers his detection. Massive pulses of mana ripple across the entire battlefield, revealing he had this active from the jump, a galaxy brain move. His scan is nearly finished. Still, he holds back the Blue Lotus to stay undercover. Panic finally starts setting in for the villain. This kid isn't just fast and strong. His perception is cracked. Desperate, he threatens Brandolin's life again, yelling for Itsuki to quit resisting. In that moment, Itsuki locks in to finish the scan without the Lotus. The system pings immediately. Skill acquired. A new terrifying ability is revealed, Shinigami Devourer. This broken skill lets him hijack summons from other users. Itsuki instantly realizes the sheer scale of this power. He can puppet the enemy monster without any healing buffs or status boosts. Doesn't matter, he is at peak performance and ready to smoke them. He notices something even bigger. This skill literally steals Shinigamis from others. With this new trump card in his grasp, he is about to flip the script entirely. A blinding light forms in his palm. Suddenly, Itsuki blitzes forward with everything he has, declaring that the dog belongs to him now. The strike connects, and his energy swallows the beast whole. With a violent impact, the Shinigami is launched backward, crashing toward its old master. Fuming, the villain screams at his pet, calling it a total fraud. Out of options, he plays his final dirty card. He threatens to snap Brandolin's neck if Itsuki moves a muscle, but the girl, though battered and bruised, finds the strength to speak. She tells him not to worry. Seeing the mess, Itsuki slowly raises his hands, surrendering. He warns the man not to touch her. The villain smirks with victory. He claims she would not be suffering if Itsuki had just stayed in his lane. Itsuki calmly drops a question. He wants to know why they are hunting him. He has not done anything wrong. The villain finally spills the tea. Reiji is livid because Itsuki raided the dungeon without an invite. Hearing that name, the protagonist's eyes turn cold. He decides to handle this personally. The villain mocks him, barking that the Shinigami will tear his legs off without a shred of mercy. He commands the beast to rip the boy's limbs apart. But in that split second, Itsuki looks up with an icy stare. He tells the hound to prove if it is worthy of serving him. The reaction is instant. The Shinigami pivots and lunges straight for its former master. The man is paralyzed by the sudden betrayal. Seizing the opening, Itsuki blurs across the field, snatching Brandolin into his arms and out of harm's way. The villain loses it. He shrieks in terror, asking why his own Shinigami is hunting him. Itsuki watches, praising the wolf dog. It serves him now, and with a hateful glare, he vows to return the pain the man caused her 100 times over. The villain, shaking, tries to negotiate. He begs for his life, offering to lead Reiji right into a lethal trap. Itsuki stares him down with a demonic look. He says, "That sounds like a fair deal." The villain thinks he won, grinning with confidence before firing a hidden attack crystal, screaming for the hero to die already. But Itsuki shuts him down with total chill. He does not need traps. He is enough to end Reiji himself. With that, he gives his new Shinigami a simple order. Make the man suffer. The guy starts begging like a coward, crying for mercy and claiming it was all a big mistake. But the creature creeps forward, ready to obey its new king. Desperate, the man reminds the dog that he was the one who fed it for years. It is useless. The Shinigami unhinges its jaw and devours him mercilessly. Zero mercy. Meanwhile, Itsuki doesn't even glance back. His focus is locked elsewhere. For quite some time now, a pair of eyes has been burning into his back. He demands to know how much longer they plan on. Lurking in the shadows. Show yourself, he commands. The camera pans up, finally exposing the hidden truth. Perched atop the structure, a mysterious hooded figure had been tracking his every move. He steps out coolly, noting he knew Itsuki had spotted him. Itsuki still Cradling Brandolin coldly asks if he's allied with the earlier trash. The blonde boy panics instantly, vehemently denying it while begging for a chance to explain. But Itsuki couldn't care less, claiming he's busy before ordering his new pet to follow once it's finished feeding. The youth watches the beast silently, realizing this man might be his only hope. He introduces himself as Iberia, praising the spectacular battle he just witnessed, recognizing Itsuki as a rising legend. He offers a massive bounty for help mana stones, top-tier weapons, name your price. Yet Itsuki just shrugs him off and keeps walking, leaving Iberia totally stunned and confused. He wonders where he went wrong, based on his master's teachings. Suddenly a flashback hits him. A master blacksmith appears, explaining that rewards must be both strategic and essential. You offer a blade to the vengeful or life-saving medicine to the wounded. With that wisdom ringing in his ears, Iberia has an epiphany. He sprints toward Itsuki, shouting that Brandolin won't survive, because the nearest hospital is miles away. Grinning confidently, he pulls out a glowing healing item, explaining that, luckily, he had one on hand. He yells that he can save her. For once, our hero actually freezes, turning around in shock to ask if he's serious. Iberia clarifies he can't fully heal her instantly, but he can keep her alive. He applies a unique bandage to Brandolin, noting this isn't some common item. Itsuki is baffled, but Iberia figures he's just a fresh awakened who's still learning the ropes. He drops some lore. Modern weapons are useless against beasts. That's why special gear exists, categorized into 4 distinct tiers. Normal gear looks basic but actually bites monsters. Rare gear, however, doesn't just draw blood. It buffs the user's stats, like agility or mana. Then there's epic gear, which provides insane stat boosts and overpowered special effects. Finally, unique gear, the holy grail for every craftsman. This is why artisans are worshipped among the awakened. Iberia flexes, claiming his father isn't just some random smith. He's one of only 10 masters worldwide. Grinning with pride, he reveals that 3 of the 10 unique items in existence were forged by his old man. He adds that his father is hailed as the artisan king of the north. But his ego takes a hit when he realizes something terrible. Itsuki isn't listening at all. Instead, Itsuki picks up a crossbow from the ground, recognizing it as Charles's former weapon. Iberia is floored that he doesn't give a damn about his legendary lineage. Ignoring the flex, Itsuki calmly inspects the crossbow, identifying it as a rare tier weapon, though it's missing bolts. Iberia explains that the crossbow actually generates its own ammo, automatically. Suddenly, the weapon vanishes. The blonde kid explains that gear auto-stores within the inventory. Itsuki tosses a quick thanks, stating he's off to hunt down some guy named Reiji. Iberia thinks it's suicide to challenge a monster like Reiji. Itsuki shoots back, asking if he thinks he should just quit. But Iberia drops a bombshell actually. They share the same goal, taking Reiji down. He invites Itsuki to team up for the tournament, the exact one Itsuki's been grinding for. Itsuki asks why that event matters, and Iberia explains that Reiji is the star attraction. Plus, there's a twist. Reiji is the administrator's son. If he loses, it'll be a massive scandal. Now Itsuki gets why that jerk hogged all the dungeons. Still, he can't wrap his head around why Iberia is so eager to help. Iberia claims his gut says Itsuki is high tier, but Itsuki senses his desperation. The blonde boy finally drops the act and gets serious, revealing the real truth. We jump back to a childhood flashback. Iberia always idolized his father, a legendary master smith. His ultimate dream was to awaken as a fighter and wield the legendary gear his father forged. But when he finally woke, his father's words cut deep. It was still too soon. Only legendary saviors could wield such power. Iberia admits that after countless desperate pleas, her father finally relented with one condition. She must dominate the tournament with unwavering resolve. Winning the qualifiers is non-negotiable. Itsuki's skeptical. Why would a legend's daughter need help? Teaming up with a level 0 makes no sense. But her father's rules were strict, no nepotism allowed. Strong allies are off limits. Worse, Regi has already scooped up every top-tier fighter available. Everyone else has already locked their squads. Then a wild rumor caught her attention. A record-breaking beast who crushed a king. That monster is Itsuki. He listens, then finally agrees to join. But first, Brandolin needs medical attention. Iberia's excitement explodes as she starts plotting their moves. She's already brainstorming epic team names.